Hey guys, it's Pastor Bruce. It's not that long ago that I would have been required to dress this way each and every time I stood behind the pulpit. For that matter, all the men in the congregation would have been required to dress this way, and the ladies in dresses and possibly even hats. We've certainly become a more casual society over the last decade or so, but our traditions die awfully hard. For example, some folks still believe that unless you're singing songs out of one of these, that your music is really not approved of God. I wonder how they'd feel if we replaced these with the hip-hop hymnal. The reality is, a lot of the music in this was considered just as radical as hip-hop when it first came out. We have a lot of traditions in the church, and sometimes they get in the way of the Word of God. And that's the subject that Jesus is dealing with in the first part of Mark chapter 7. The issue at hand there is that the Pharisees and scribes have developed this system called Korban, which was essentially a shelter for their money. They said that they were going to give their money to the temple when they died, but they were allowed to hang on to it while they were still alive. They just weren't able to use it for other purposes. And so they would use this to say, I'm not able to financially support my parents. Jesus had a real problem with this. He said, guys, your tradition is running afoul of the commandment that says that you're to honor your father and your mother. Guys, Jesus is always going to have a problem when our traditions run headlong into the commandments of the Word of God. Speaking of traditions, you look at our churches today, very little of what we do is actually described or prescribed in the Word of God. Certainly we're told to preach and to teach, we're told to sing, we're told to evangelize and make disciples, and we're given the ordinances of baptism and the Lord's Supper. But we don't do the Lord's Supper anything like what Jesus and the disciples did the very first time. The caution for us is to not let our traditions start to make us think we are holy or wonderful. And we need to realize that whether we do or don't do different activities in a church, that doesn't change who we are. What makes us growing, vital followers of Christ is not what songs we sing or how our chairs are set up or how we dress. That comes from us reading the Word of God. It comes from us praying. It comes from us daily surrendering our lives to Jesus Christ. It comes from doing what He tells us to do in His Word and going out and making those disciples and encouraging others and allowing them to encourage us and keep us accountable. Those are the things that are going to really, truly make us the followers of Christ that He desires. So let me encourage you, when it comes down to tradition or the Word of God, you need to choose the Word of God every single time. God bless you as you go.